Greetings and salutations about to everyone. My name is Darren Linte, MSB21004, and today I'm going to be presenting my speech, which is titled Putting a Stop to Child Marriage, Giving Agency Back to Malaysia's Future Generation. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a child locked out of their childhood or their future at the tender age of 16. This is the harsh reality of children who are subjected to child marriages. Ask yourself this: is this the fate that we wish upon them? Do you know of anyone who is undergoing a similar situation? UNICEF states that in 2018, it is estimated that about 1,500 children are married off each year. And according to our local statistic, the OSM, in 2020, about 1,354 children were married off, whereas in 2021, the number was lower, about 1,086. Regardless, child marriages are running rampant, and it's occurring even within our own country. In my speech today, I'm going to be talking about why child marriages occur, the impacts of child marriages, not just to individuals, but also to society, and how exactly we can combat this issue. So let's begin. Why do child marriages occur in the first place? First things first, it's probably due to a lack of awareness. Most individuals are just unaware or oblivious about the situation or the issues or impacting child marriages itself. They don't really understand the gravity of the situation and thus imitate or follow an apathetic situation about it. Second is family cover up. These families don't really want to face the backlash of early pregnancies, and often, as a solution, marry off the child at a young age to protect the dignity of the face of the family. Can't really call it a early pregnancy if they're already married. Next is not valuing the child. These families don't see the child as anything other than resources, and often the child exists only to have a value to the family. They don't really see they don't really see a human, they only see a value or a resource. And in extreme cases, especially those who are poverty, these children are often married off for the sake of money. And we also have religious interpretations. There are individuals who interpret the teachings or scriptures to support child marriages itself. So in Islam, for example, there is no minimum age stipulated which someone can marry. However, we understand there are more nuances to the situation. Regardless, people still use this as a loophole to support child marriages itself. So why exactly is child marriages problematic? So, as we understand, child marriage equates to early marriage, and this stunts their ability to develop, as they have responsibilities trusted upon them at such an early age. As such, this often relates or causes unstable households, which bleed out and cause multiple issues. For example, monetary issues or poverty. These people are very immature, young, they don't really understand how to manage funds, and can often lead to poverty at such a young age. And given that their immaturity, they often can result or relate violence to let out their emotions or release steam. And as such, the rate of domestic violence is much higher in these younger couples. Now, this is also very problematic for the young girls who are involved, as these individuals are unable to pursue an education and they are also exposed to continued poverty, especially if they marry a peer at a similar age but are struggling to make ends meet. Additionally, these individuals are also more exposed to domestic abuse compared to their to their peers who are not married. And additionally, given that they are such a young age, if they do experience a pregnancy, they are more likely to suffer from birth complications and health risks. Now, these issues are not isolated to only these couples. They can actually bleed out to society and cause possible impacts, for example, neighborhood disturbances. Individuals or couples who are struggling to make ends meet will often resort to thievery to solve this issue, or people who have domestic disputes can actually cause disturbances of the peace from all the fighting or shouting that's occurring. And since these children are struggling just to survive, they are unable to contribute back to society in a meaningful way. So, what are the solutions that we propose? One thing is legal reformation. Basically, we want to prevent children marriages from being even legal in the first place. We want to prevent them from happening. So this is done by raising the minimum legal age to 18 for both boys and girls, not the 16 and 18. And we also want to remove any loopholes that allow children to marry at such a young age. And of course, the changes that made should be abided and supported by Sharia law and religious leaders to encourage people or to dissuade them from pursuing child marriages in the first place. Additionally, we also have general awareness, where we want to make the public more aware on the impacts that they are suffering or child marriages are suffering from. We want to inform and educate those who are unaware or oblivious to how bad the impacts of child marriages really are. And of course, we want to make such education more available to others, as early pregnancies are often a loophole that people use to support child marriages itself. Of course, we also want to have community support, and this means by banding together and providing necessary support. One of these is done by supporting the initiative that where combat child marriages itself, and community itself should also become the voice of reason to convince fellow peers, people around them, who are pursuing, who are interested in child marriages itself. And of course, the community itself should function as a support system to help young children so that their lives won't be completely overturned by a pregnancy. They should be able to live out their lives and experience their childhood. So these are the countries that we should follow the full steps. These are Sweden, Norway, Denmark, the Netherlands, and Canada. These are all countries who have banned child marriages and have very strict laws implemented to prevent them from occurring in the first place. So how future-proof are these plans? Well, these solutions will help improve the children's happiness and welfare, and these children will actually have a future to look forward to. The countries I mentioned also have actually real proof of their bans. For example, child marriage incidences in Norway is about 0.01%, Denmark with 1%, and others have also been reported to be quite low, with only any presence due to being civil disputes or refugee migration. Now, I want to preface this with a fatwa taken from Al Azhar, a university in Egypt. Marriage in Islam is based on the consent of both parties, particularly the young women. As such, consent requires the young women to have reached the age of maturity and reason so that her consent is validly given. In Islam, it's already been taught that marriage needs the consent of both parties. However, in child marriages, the consent is never the situation like this. The consent is only by a single party, and it's never by a young woman. So, to summarize, child marriages are bad. They are harmful. They ruin the childhood and futures of these young, beautiful people. So, how can we tackle them? We can solve these issues by providing legal information, providing more awareness to the public, and having community support to support these initiatives. And I want to preface again, children are not statistics. They are human beings with emotions like you and me and should be treated as such. We often say to ourselves that children are the future leaders of our country. Ask yourselves this: is this the future we want for future leaders themselves? Are we okay with cutting off their childhood and their futures with just one simple act? Ask yourself this, ladies and gentlemen. That's all from me. Thank you.